stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin. This was when I was living in Austin, Texas, years ago, man, 1990s. It's Halloween. I get on the city bus, and give the driver the money and go to sit down. And I notice his costume. And he had the most awesome, I guess you would call it prisoner costume. And Jeff, the way the prisoners used to look over here, and this mostly came out of the movies you'd see from here. They'd have on striped shirt and pants and this little striped cap on, and this guy had all that, and he had a little ball and chain. Got out of prison, Dave. Yeah. Well, if it was in an old movie, yeah. But he even had a ball and chain. It was, obviously, I'm sure the ball was like, what you would call polystyrene, what we would call styrofoam or something, But he had the ball and chain hanging off the change box for the bus, so you really couldn't miss it. It was a great costume, man.
He should have won a little. It should have been a competition for the bus drivers who could wear the best costumes. Yeah, he'd won it hands down, wouldn't he? Because that's so original, isn't it? I like it.
Those go on all the time.
No, that's brilliant, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Did you compliment him on it, Dave? Did you say, "Wow, brilliant"? I know I would have done.
I'm not sure if I did. I don't think I did, but I should have. But yeah, that happens over here all the time too, Jeff. Is now a lot of times it's usually very informal. It'll be like adults at a Halloween party, and they'll give a little prize for whoever comes in the best costume. And this I know, Jeff, for a fact, has been going on since the middle of the 20th century. Since the early 1950s. Because neighbors would get together. Every Halloween, the adult neighbors, and they'd have a party, and of course, they'd give a little prize, if nothing else, bragging rights for the best costume.
I think it's nice. It's a community spirit, isn't it? It's where you bring community. You get these lovely communities you live in where people like to do things together and have a bit of fun, put a bit of food out. That's what it's all about. It's all about living's all about, isn't it, Dave?
Oh, yeah, man. Living and loving life, brother. You know it, man.
Yeah, that's it. Live for the day and enjoy it, Brilliant, there must be a lot of people out there who've got memories of special, Halloweens that they went to, that something stood out, someone's costume, something like that. That is what it's all about, isn't it, really? It's just, it's memories, isn't it? Memories.
I can remember two costumes that I had for Halloween, and really only two. I bought a cheap pirate costume when I was growing up and, doing Halloween at the office. That was but as a kid, I had two costumes. I had a skeleton, of course, that's a standard thing, and of course, and one year I had a Dick Tracy costume. So there you go, man. I was working the Dick Tracy swag right there.
Back. Dick Tracy.
Yeah, cool. It does, yeah.
Just had the comics back in the days as well, and the series on the radio and TV. Yeah, that was the days, Dave. Wow.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. But remember, this was the late 60s, so Dick Tracy was still very much in evidence back then. So,
man.
A lot
of books, wasn't there? the author wrote a lot of books, which are very popular.
Yeah.
Especially if you're banged up or something like that. It's Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Always, mate.
Isn't that kind of ironic, Jeff, though? Seriously, I mean, isn't that kind of ironic? If you're sitting in a jail cell and you're reading about a detective putting people in jail, it's kind of ironic, isn't it, brother?
Maybe that's it. That's to help you serve your time. It's,
yeah.
It makes you think.
That's right.
It's as you say, it's ironic, really. But I suppose they got a sense of humour. They got to have the authorities to do things like that, haven't they? You got to have it.
Oh yeah, but, certainly.
I don't know, not my own experience personally, but.
Oh, but of course, yeah. Understood, man. Understood. Yeah. Well, now I don't know about you, Jeff, but I have certain favorite things that I like to look at and everything around Halloween. Sort of spooky stuff and things like that. And I'm kind of wondering if there aren't any really like movies, books, TV shows, and things like that you like to look at around Halloween. Oh
my goodness me, Dave! I've just got to flick around me channels that I got. I guarantee. I mean, I've got to pick up a lot of American AMC and the American Sci-Fi. Guaranteed, it's 24-hour Halloween films, just one after another. It's not. I'm not short for watching the films. Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, the new edition, and so on. And the Freddy Krueger films and all that sort of thing, Dave. Do have a theme where it's Freddy Krueger stuff and pretty scary, actually. It still freaks me out when I watch those, Freddy Krueger type of films. It gets into your dreams and you get murdered in your dreams. I mean, come on, man, that's pretty nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street, that's what I'm trying to think of. Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's, wow. That's scary, isn't it? You go to sleep and you're hunted down in your dreams. But, but as I'm saying, I haven't got far to look, Dave. And probably same as yourself, mate. Guarantee you've got so many different channels that they just roll it all day long, don't they, And
they do.
Actually, like living in the UK now, it's very similar to like being in the States. Because to be honest with you, I probably watch more American stuff now than I do the British stuff. I don't watch the BBC stuff and all that. I prefer the American theme things. I can relate to it more than I can to what's actually been put out over here, all the propaganda and all that, Dave. So, that's just me. Probably there's a lot of people like me as well. We just fed up with the old British stiff upper lip, don't you know, chaps. Don't need it all the time. That's just
well,
me,
there you go, Jeff. Yeah, there you go. Well, I've got a few to recommend for people, who, over in the UK there who want a little bit of late night spookiness, or people in the States or anywhere else who are, looking for a little bit of scary stuff for the evening, to, give you a little chill up your spine and whatnot. Now, this one, this is for all you guys who have all the Netflix and Hulu and all this other stuff, sort of titles you can look for, okay? Now, the first one is Dracula, but it has to be the one with the star Louis Jourdan. Now, this was put out over here. Now, I don't know if this was an American production. It might have been a BBC production or an ITV, somebody like that. But it was the story of Dracula starring this guy, Louis Jourdan. And it is super creepy. It's not, the old-timey Dracula. This follows the books along.
Yeah.
And
not the Christopher Lee stuff. Yeah, no.
No. Although I like Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee was
Christopher
genius,
Lee was.
man. Yeah, man.
He was pretty cool. It's pretty cool, that.
He was. But this one follows along the book, and it will give you the creeps really big time, man. So if you can find that, that's a good one. Also, I got to tell you, Jeff, my all-time favorite, most scary movie, and to this day I don't watch it all the way through because it does creep me out, and it's because well, I figured this out, man. Now, I had a girlfriend who was very intelligent, and I still think very fondly of her. She said of the main character in this movie, she said, I don't like that movie because that main character seems too real. Now, and we're talking about the original Halloween, because you got Michael Myers,
the music,
and
the jingle that's going on all the way through it as well, Dave.
Yeah,
that spooks you out as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, it does. I mean, brilliant music, and it just adds to the relentlessness of this creature.
That we got to call it out what it is, Dave. It's total brutal from beginning to the end.
Oh yeah, now that's one to this day that I would not recommend that a kid see. They need to be a little bit older when they see this. I mean, I was 18 years old when Halloween first came out, and it freaked me out. I did not sleep well that night after I saw that movie. But if you want something really scary, that's one that I highly recommend. And there's a couple of others, Jeff. Now one, you and I talked about this, some time ago. It's Aliens, the second Alien movie.
Oh,
all right?
I've been watching that as well. Believe it or not, they've had a run of that as well, Dave. I think AMC I can't remember if it's AMC or one of the American channels I watch. I like watching because, really, truthfully, they just play one into another. You don't have, you have the intermittent breaks as you do, like because it's commercialised.
Of course, yeah.
But it runs from one to another, which I like that way. I don't know if you like that, Dave. You've seen Alien 1, you want to see Alien 2, and it runs from one into another. That's what you want to do, and they do the things. And I like that. You probably the same as me. I just like that there. If you want to watch 2 or 3 hours of gore and all that, that's our thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and
I think the one that spooked me out, and they banned it for many years over here. There's a couple of scenes in it, and they couldn't. They didn't want to give it. They give it a censorship that it was banned, and that was, of course, Dave, zombie flesh eaters. The original zombie flesh eaters. Did you? Oh, you know what I'm talking about, man.
No, I don't, but I can imagine.
Scene in that they didn't want to give it X certificate or whatever. It was so bad. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It scared me because every time they come to see where this woman was having her face pulled towards this bit of glass. I think you know the scene I'm talking about, Dave. But the thing about the scene, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be a bit graphic, is you actually see the shard of glass enter the eye, but they've done it in such a way. That was the realistic bit that freaked a lot of the censors out. That is the reason why they didn't want to give it, and that's why it was banned over here for so many years. But I was one of them people.
Wow.
I could manage to get hold of them copies, Dave. That was bad.
Well, yeah.
I had my ways and means, you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah, hypothetically, of course, but yeah, getting back to the Aliens, the second Alien movie. A lot of people might look at that as science fiction, but actually, Alien and the second Alien movie it's a horror movie. It just happens to be set in space, and I mean it's a good fun. I actually, Jeff, if you guys can run to it, get the director's cut, because the director's cut lasts like 2.5 hours. Okay, it's not what they released in the features. You get some good deleted scenes and everything in there, that are infused into the movie right at the start of it, right at the start of the one I've got. The producer comes in and says, "Okay, guys, this is not the theatrical release. It was thought back in the day that you couldn't make a movie too long, but hey, this is the ride we wanted you to take." And then it takes off, man. And, from then on, it's, like Marines, blasting away at these nasty aliens with acid for blood. And it is just a nonstop fun, man. You got to love it, Jeff. You got to love it. And I'll give you another couple.
Well,
I'll give you another couple, brother.
Sometimes you just, some of us just like that. I mean, I was brought up on horror films. I mean, I used to go to bed. My father, he didn't read me a story out of a book. He used to tell me a ghost story. I'm sitting there, and the covers up, scared out of life. I was brought up really quite strange, Dave. No wonder I like watching horror films like I've done over the years.
Well, that's what.
It?
Yeah, that's what a lot of Americans don't know. We had this talk before the show. I mean, the fairy tales, what we would call fairy tales over here in the United States, that they tell their children in the UK and Europe and places like that, are a lot nastier than the watered down ones that we got here in the United States. Yeah, but let me give you a couple other titles here.
Nursery rhymes come from actual, and there was, I remember it a while ago. They actually factual things. That a nursery rhyme actually come from factual things, and when you heard of the actual factual thing that created the nursery rhyme, they used to go, "Wow." I'd have never believed that until it was told to us. And I think a lot of us really, back in the day, when we found out, it sort of, you looked at nursery rhymes in a totally different way after that, didn't you? You used to think it was just nursery rhymes, but then you realised there was something definitely behind it, and that was quite interesting when you find out that, isn't it, though?
Yeah. It is. Now, let me give you a couple of other titles because these are going to be kind of unexpected for some of you. But you should be able, I would think, to find them on some of these services and everything that are out there for these movies. This is a couple of TV movies that were made in the early 1970s. I think the first was made in 72 and the second was made in 73. And again, I've got them on DVD just because I like this guy. The first one, and remember, guys, these are movies. It's not the TV series. The first one is called The Night Stalker, and this was a movie that was made by a producer of a popular a cult soap opera over here called Dark Shadows. It was made by a guy named Dan Curtis, and it's okay. There are several things I like about it. Now, number one, there's a lot of suspense in it. Number two, they did location shots. This movie takes place in Las Vegas, and there's like Las Vegas all over the place. This isn't some stupid Hollywood backlot or something like that. Okay, this is in Las Vegas. So you get that realism going up in there. And then number three, and it is Darren McGavin, okay? Nobody else could play the part of the reporter Kolchak like Darren McGavin could. He had the voice, he had the swag, he had the way of getting it done. And, yeah, there's some scary moments in it, man. It's something that's completely under the radar for some people, but it is a good movie, and I also recommend the sequel to that, which is called The Night Strangler. Again, okay, they did location shots all over the place for that one. That one took place in Seattle. All right, and they had some great character actors in that one as well. Of course, Darren McGavin replaying Kolchak. They had character actors like Joanne Flug, who was on Laugh-In. They had Wally Cox, who was in a bunch of stuff over in the 1960s here in the States. They had Jeff. You're gonna love this one. They had John Carradine in that movie. I mean,
wow.
This guy would act in anything. He didn't care. They had John Carradine in that movie, and to watch the movie today, I just have to, like roll laughing because John Carradine is, as you know, he's the actual owner of this paper that the reporter Carl Kolchak goes to in Seattle, and they come in and Kolchak does, and Simon Oakland, who plays his editor, come in, and he's great too, by the way. Simon Oakland is, and John Carradine starts saying, "All right, now you're not going to pull that same stuff you did in Las Vegas. This isn't Fun City. This is Seattle, where we're serious." And I think about all the crap going on in Seattle now. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man.
What goes on in Las
cool.
Vegas doesn't go on in Seattle.
Jeez, yeah. What goes on in Seattle?
Las Vegas, isn't it? That's it.
Well, yeah. If you see Seattle these days, you want to stay in Las Vegas. I swear. But no, again, great. Great
sad,
location
isn't it?
shots.
It's sad reflection of what it used to be. It used to be a great name, isn't it?
Man.
Back in the day.
Oh, see, yeah. I mean, we're talking about 1973, Jeff. They had lots of location shots.
Yeah.
They had the Space Needle. They even did some shots with them in the restaurant that's at the top of there. They had, of course, they had the Seattle monorail, which was a big deal back in those days. Man, you probably even heard about that in the UK. And I learned about this from this movie. They had, now I don't know if they did actual location shots under there, but they had location shots at the basically the beginning part of it. There is Seattle has another city under it. And I learned from somebody that lived near there. This is a fact. In 1889, there was a big fire in Seattle, and instead of doing what they've done in other cities, they did this. Like for instance, in London when they had that fire in, I think it was 1666. Well, they just knocked stuff down and built up new buildings, right?
Weird that number as well. Think about it. They 1666.
I know. I know, man. Yeah.
That's really
but anyway.
strange.
Yeah, that's what they did in London. They just knocked the buildings down and put up new buildings. They didn't do that in Seattle.
Yeah.
They just built a new city on top of the old one. And you can actually take a tour if you go to Seattle of the underground city that's still there. It's probably full of freaks and dope heads and
really
all kinds of people now.
Dave,
Oh yeah,
it,
man.
Yeah. I bet it's very, very haunted. I'd say that. If you talk about hauntings and that, I would say.
Oh yeah.
With cities that's been built on top of cities, that there's some sort of things going on underneath your feet. Believe it or not. But I back in the day, I mean, you talk about Seattle. I looked at Seattle back in the day as being an idealistic city. I used to look at it. They was forward looking at the time with the great big monuments, things like that. It was looking out, looking in. It looked the place that you'd like to visit, didn't it, Dave? Back in the day, with your monorail, things like that. It was definitely futuristic in their look. They're looking forward, that sort of thing. But I don't know what it's like now, Dave. Sadly, it's maybe a reflection of what it used to be. I mean, look at London. Look at poor old London. Look what they've done to London. Their politicians and that. Unbelievable, mate.
Yeah, I mean, well, what it is today. I mean, it's full of lefties and just again, horrible stuff going on. You've got put it this way. You've got two statues of Vladimir Lenin in Seattle now, and that's just not. It's not what it was in the 1970s. No, it's not. You've got those two statues of Lenin. It's terrible, but guys, we're going to talk we're going to make one more reference here about Halloween. But we
got
a phone call.
Caller that's just called in, Dave. So I was wondering if before we move on to our next theme, that we should take a caller. As I say, he's probably want to call in about Halloween today.
Yeah,
let's
hope
should
that
we
caller...
take this caller, Dave? I bet it'd be nice, wouldn't it, yeah?
Yeah, let's hope that caller has some Halloween fun for us and not something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go, then. I'm just, welcome to the EDL's Halloween Funtacular 2019. Welcome to the show, and go ahead, what you want to speak about. And happy Halloween, by the way.
Hey guys, you're putting a lot of pressure on me, expecting to come up with some kind of a good Halloween story. But you mentioned Seattle, and it is like some kind of futuristic city in a futuristic dystopian movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you have it's like it's akin to 1930s, fascism, like in Germany, except instead of the SS, you have Antifa.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Is that you, Brian?
Yeah.
Is that you, Brian?
That's me. Hey guys.
Hey, Brian.
Hi. I thought I
Brian.
recognised your voice there. Good to hear you. I
Welcome
didn't
to the
know
show,
that,
man.
actually. What Dave was saying, and you, I can't believe that it's turned. I used to look back many years ago at Seattle and look at it in an idealistic way. It was looking towards the future, but you seem to, and Dave seem to think it's descended into, I don't know, Antifa infested.
Brian said it best, Jeff. Brian said it best. Brian said it best. It's become okay. It used to be a forward-looking city of the future as advertised, and now, as Brian says, it's almost like a Clockwork Orange or Soylent Green at this point. Am I right, Brian?
Yeah, you could say the same. It's even sadder. You could say the same for the whole state of California. I mean, look at the natural resources California has: the oil, the agriculture, the great weather, the beaches. I mean, it used to be paradise on earth. And
the left ruin every place they go, man. They ruin every place they go.
They destroy everything they touch. Yeah. Every single thing they touch. And the hatred is so strong with them that when they killed Baghdadi last weekend, they couldn't say great job because they had that Trump derangement syndrome. So they were trying to minimize the importance of killing Baghdadi, and even had the Washington Post call him an austere religious scholar.
Yeah. What a crock, man. What a crock. Well, Jet, Brian, get back to Cali, okay? This is how bad it's gotten, and we got this from I got this from BZ, who runs BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, which you guys can hear at 11 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He lives in California. Okay, he lives in Northern California, and they've got all those fires out there now. Now, why do they have all those fires? Part of the reason they've got them is because the enviro wackos out there are so stupid that they say, "Oh no, you can't cut away all of this old underbrush or anything because that would disturb the environment." That's where the bloody fires start, in that underbrush, and it's feet deep, man. I mean, it is so deep out there that almost anything can start a fire. And now, of course, they're paying for it. But are the lefties going to apologize? No. Hey, trick or treat. Here's your Halloween treat. We're going to burn your damn house down.
They're still blaming it on Donald Trump, aren't they, Dave?
They're
still blaming it on Donald Trump, no matter what. It's what they are. They got this derangement, as I think what you said, Dave or Brian.
Yeah, that's right.
But they have, haven't they? It's pure hatred, isn't it? Because he's draining the swamp, and they just hate him every breath they got.
They hate him, and there's so much projection.
He's treading on in their playground, isn't he?
You're right, man.
Yeah. The left believes in democracy only when they're winning elections. The left projects. They accuse everybody of what they're guilty of. So when they accuse, Trump and the others of election fraud, it's because they commit election fraud. So, they probably assume everybody else does. I mean, and the thing, too, is the hatred, which they will, I'm sure you get a lot of this.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.